I'm gonna disagree, and because one, I think they're going to go to the finals. I think they're going to be that good. But we also haven't had a chance to see them all play together, right? And that's the big elephant in the room here. So we haven't seen it, but we assume
he's a big elephant.
Big elephant. And we want to see it, and we're excited to see it, and we will after the All-Star break. But I just disagree because I think it's a maybe 4 year window. I would say maybe more 3 after this year. So you get 3 after this year, and that window opens up. And then some of the reports coming out that he didn't opt in, James Harden, to this deal was because they want to leave money out there to be able to go maybe get another star caliber player, right? So that's some of the conversations early on, and I know the league has been notified of some tampering here. So that's going to be interesting to see. Hopefully nothing comes of it. But that's some of the reports coming out. So I don't necessarily believe it's finals or bust. I still think they go. I think they're good enough to go. I think with Joel Embiid playing at the level he's played at this season, I think anybody that thinks that they can't go is sort of delusional, right? I mean, we haven't seen this type of dominance from a big man in a long time. So, I mean, you team him up with the right pieces, which I think this basketball team has. Listen, I think the sky's the limit, but I disagree because I still think they got like a 3 year window after this to try to cut the nets down. So that's where I'm going with it tonight. You really can't go any deeper than what we can go, right? Because we haven't seen it. So it's sort of unfair to say finals or bust, but on paper and what's expected, it's always finals or bust. Okay, let me make that clear too. It's always finals or bust when you're going all in. I just think the window isn't just this year. Like if you said finals or bust for this deal to pay off, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm agreeing to that poll. But just for this season, you guys know the chemistry and what's needed in the NBA at times. Now, I still think there's enough chemistry on this basketball team. I think James fits in perfect to that because he is a guy that, we look at him and he's selfish and wants to get his shots off, but he's also a really good distributor of the basketball too. And he rebounds well. So he does some things that are important from just scoring the basketball. And with him and Joe, like I told you guys before, we might be watching 5-hour games because everybody's at the line. So, but I disagree to this poll for this season being the end-all, be-all to finals or bust or the whole thing's a failure. I think that's almost unfair, but it's fair because this basketball team needs to get over the hump. They've only been to the second round of the playoffs, right? And their hump just isn't now constructed to get to an Eastern Conference final. Their hump now is to go to the NBA Finals. And if you win it, okay. But that's got to be the goal, and that's got to be everybody's thought on this show should be like, listen, we should be good enough to go, right? But it doesn't mean it's a bust if they don't. Now, if they don't get out of the second round, then I start having conversations about busts, okay? But if they at least go to an Eastern Conference final and make strides to show you they're a better basketball team, I don't think we're saying bust. I think we're saying, hey, underachieved, but not bust because I got another 3 years to try to go get this. And what can I do? What wiggle room do I have as an organization? If James takes $25 million a year for 2 years, hypothetically, what wiggle room do I have for those 2 years to now go bring in somebody else? Maybe you keep Tobias, right? Maybe it's not even a move at Tobias because you're just freeing up some extra money because you're not paying a max deal to him. You understand what I'm saying, guys? So you're not owing him Ben Simmons type money. So you're left with meat on the bone, right? You're left with $15 million, $18 million in that ballpark to go dabble with for 2 years, to go get yourself a guy who, hey, just wants to win. Like, an all-star caliber player just wants to go to an environment that he believes he can win in. Sky's the limit. Critical of Daryl Morey before. What?
Is that all he wants to win? I mean, he was up 3-1, 3-0 in Houston and couldn't close out the Warriors.
Like a decade ago.
Who? We're talking about Harden? I'm talking about another player that wants to come here and just win.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that.
See how quickly he pounced?
I'll give you that.
He pounced on
well,
that?
But let's just not, make out James Harden to be the greatest teammate of all time.
Okay, but we're also talking about when you want to talk about that 3-1 series. Let's talk about again who got hurt in that series up 3-1.
I hear you.
Okay, I mean, just to be fair, I understand.
But if he's just great scorer, he should be able to win one game.
Okay, against the greatest team of all time.
You were up 3-0, 3-1.
I understand that, but you lost your general. You lost your whole general. What are you doing? Listen, I agree with you. He's underachieved at times. Okay, I get you. but he's also never played with a guy like this. Through all his career, he's never played with a talent like this because nobody has. Nobody has. In the history of the NBA, nobody has played with a guy of this caliber, like at the big man position, that can do every fucking thing on the court, Greg. Nobody has. Nobody. This is why we were just begging for something back to team up with him, and we get a star. We get a star, and because we've been critical of him in the past, we got to continue on the critical side and say, you know what? You know what? He said he's always wanted to come here. This is where he wants to be. Listen, maybe he's the perfect citizen here. Maybe he's the perfect citizen, or maybe he's not. But I got to believe if Darryl is all in on him, he knows more about him than we do. And we got to hope that he's making that right decision.